Yesterday, the Senate Banking Committee voted 15-9 to advance the Clarity Act. The most consequential crypto legislation in a decade just cleared its biggest hurdle. Banking lobbyists spent months trying to kill one specific clause inside Section 404, the activity-based rewards carve-out. 6 trade organizations sent a joint letter calling it a, quote, significant loophole. They lost. The carve-out survived. And before you think that's just a win for stablecoin rewards, this might actually be one of the most bullish structural signals you'll see for Zebec this entire cycle. Let's break this down. 15 senators just voted to reshape the entire stablecoin economy. 9 voted against it. The banking industry threw everything they had at killing one clause and failed. Buried inside that surviving clause is an explicit protection for activity-based payments. There is exactly one protocol running 65,000 workers through that exact model right now. Almost nobody is connecting those dots. This might actually be one of the most bullish signals you'll see this year. It happened. The Clarity Act just passed the Senate Banking Committee in a bipartisan 15-9 vote. The bill that rewrites the rules for every stablecoin, every DeFi protocol, every payment rail in crypto. It's now heading to the Senate floor. And while everyone's focused on what Section 404 banned, almost nobody is looking at what it protected. That's where Zebec comes in. Let's break this down. Here's the context. For months, the Clarity Act has been working its way through Congress. The House passed its version earlier this year. The Senate Banking Committee, chaired by Senator Tim Scott, has been the bottleneck, a straight partisan standoff. Banking lobbyists on one side, crypto advocates on the other. 2 weeks ago, most analysts were saying the bill was stalling. The American Bankers Association, the Bank Policy Institute, and 4 other trade groups sent a joint letter directly to the committee warning that Section 404's carve-out for activity-based rewards was a, quote, significant loophole that could allow crypto intermediaries to offer interest-like payments. They wanted that language stripped completely. They lost. Yesterday, Democratic Senators Ruben Gallego of Arizona and Angela Also Brooks of Maryland broke ranks and joined every Republican on the committee. The vote was 15-9. The bill advances to the Senate floor. The carve-out survived. Now here's where things get interesting. The headline everyone's reading. Stablecoin yield is banned. Section 404 prohibits passive yield on stablecoin holdings. If you're an issuer or a distribution platform, you cannot pay interest on dollar-denominated tokens sitting in a wallet. That's the kill shot for the park your USDC and earn model. Aave, Compound, their entire stablecoin yield thesis just became non-compliant. But that's not the whole story. Section 404 doesn't ban all rewards, it bans passive rewards. The bill text, and I want to read this carefully, explicitly protects what it calls activity-based rewards and incentives tied to payments and platform usage. Think about what that means. You don't get rewarded for holding. You get rewarded for doing something, for using the stablecoin as a payment rail, for actually transacting. This is not a small distinction. This is the legislative equivalent of the United States Congress pointing at one model and saying that one stays, and pointing at the other and saying that one goes. To understand Zebec's position here, we first need to clarify what it is and what it isn't. Zebec isn't a bank. It isn't an app sitting on top of someone else's rails. Zebec is programmable settlement, a per-second streaming payroll protocol that moves stablecoins continuously in real time, tied directly to labor, to work performed, to value created. 65,000 workers are currently receiving compensation through Zebec's infrastructure using USD1, the World Liberty Financial stablecoin. Every second those workers are active, stablecoins are moving. That is activity-based reward. That is utility. That is, word for word, what Section 404 explicitly protects. Most stablecoin projects in the payment space are applications. They sit on top of existing infrastructure. They facilitate transactions, but they don't generate the underlying activity that Section 404 defines as protected. Zebec is different. Zebec is the activity. Before I connect the final dots, If you're tracking how regulation reshapes crypto infrastructure, not just headlines, subscribe and hit the bell. This channel breaks down the signals before they become consensus. Now here's the anomaly nobody is confronting. In 2025, stablecoins processed $33 trillion in transaction volume. Visa and MasterCard, combined, processed $25.5 trillion. Stablecoins didn't just close the gap. They lapped the entire legacy card network by $7 trillion. But, and this is the part that matters, of that $33 trillion, less than 1% represented actual payments. Real commerce, real payroll, real value flowing to real people. The other 99%, speculation, arbitrage, yield farming, circular capital looking for the next return. And the Clarity Act just told that 99% find a new strategy. So what does displaced capital do when it can no longer sit still and earn? It has to move. Through productive activity, through utility. Zebec, right now, today, is one of the only protocols on Earth with the infrastructure to absorb it. This is not just a feature, it's a fundamental shift in the architecture of stablecoin capital allocation. This brings us to the most critical point about Zebec's timing. As of March 2026, the final token unlock is complete. 100% of ZBCN is in circulation. No more dilution events. No more vesting cliffs. No more unlock overhang suppressing price discovery. What you have now is a fully deflationary supply structure. Revenue generated by the protocol flows back into buybacks. Every dollar of payroll processed through Zebec's rails creates buy pressure on a fixed, fully circulated supply. Add the capital displacement from Section 404, billions exiting passive yield strategies looking for productive stablecoin utility, and the demand-side equation changes materially. Consider the broader picture. Zebec is live on Stellar, the same network the Stellar Development Foundation selected Zebec for as native USDC payroll infrastructure, not as a partner, as infrastructure. Zebec is live on Base, Coinbase's Layer 2, a direct line into institutional-grade distribution. Anchorage Digital, the only federally chartered digital asset bank in the United States, supports ZBCN. And as of March 2026, Crypto.com has made ZBCN IRA eligible, locking a portion of supply into long-term retirement accounts. Think about it. Every one of those moves, Stellar, Base, Anchorage, IRA eligibility, represents institutional infrastructure built around compliance, not around narrative, not around hype, around structural utility. The Clarity Act doesn't create Zebec's opportunity, it reveals it. The protocol was already building the pipes. The law is just now confirming that those are the right pipes to build. Banking lobbyists tried to kill the Carve-Out. They failed. And in that failure, the United States Senate just confirmed that activity-based payment rails, Zebec's exact model, are the compliant architecture for the stablecoin economy. Most people will read this bill and see restriction. You now have different information. And in crypto, the biggest opportunities usually look confusing right before they make sense. Drop worker rails or bank rails in the comments. Which side of the Clarity Act are you betting on? And if you want the deeper breakdown of how Section 404's carve-out compares to legacy payroll infrastructure, that video is right here.